We walk past plants every single day, on sidewalks, in parks, through forests, and we think nothing of them. We assume they're passive, silent, just there, background decoration for our busy, noisy, overwhelmed lives. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe we've been so loud inside our own heads, so consumed by deadlines, notifications, arguments replaying at 2 a.m., that we forgot to notice something extraordinary happening right beneath our feet. Because plants are not passive. They're not helpless. And what they do when threatened will fundamentally change the way you see the quiet, green world around you. It might even change the way you see yourself. Let me take you somewhere. Imagine a field of wild tobacco plants. Nicotiana attenuata. They stand in the warm soil of the Great Basin Desert in Utah, stretching their leaves toward the sun like open palms. For weeks, they've been photosynthesizing, growing, quietly building themselves molecule by molecule. No ruse, no panique, just patient, steady becoming. And then she arrives. A moth, the tobacco hornworm moth. She doesn't eat the plant herself. No, she does something far more devastating. She lays her eggs, and when those eggs hatch, dozens of caterpillars will emerge, and they will eat, and eat, and eat. They will consume entire leaves in hours. They will strip a plant to its skeleton if nothing stops them. Now, if you were this plant, rooted in place, unable to run, unable to fight, unable to even flinch, what would you do? What could you do? The exact moment, that caterpillar's mouth touches the leaf, the plant detects something in its saliva, a specific compound, a chemical fingerprint that tells the plant exactly what is attacking it. Not wind damage, not hail, not a deer brushing past, a caterpillar. And the plant does not simply endure. It responds. Within minutes, the wounded leaf sends electrical signals. Yes, electrical signals, racing through its vascular system. Think of it like a nervous system without nerves, a scream without a voice, an alarm without a sound. These signals trigger a cascade. The plant begins producing jasmonic acid, a stress hormone, and this hormone activates genes, dozens of them, genes that have been sitting quietly in the plant's DNA, waiting, sometimes for an entire lifetime, for this exact moment. And here is where it becomes almost unbelievable. The plant begins to manufacture a specific blend of volatile organic compounds, a chemical cocktail released into the air from its leaves. Scientists call them herbivore-induced plant volatiles. But I want you to think of them as something else. Think of them as a distress signal, a message, broadcast into the wind, invisible, weightless, but carrying information so precise that it functions like a letter addressed to a very specific recipient. And who receives this letter? A wasp, a parasitic wasp that feeds on exactly the species of caterpillar that's attacking the plant. The plant doesn't just call for help. It calls for the right help. It recruits a specific, targeted assassin from the sky. Let that sit for a moment. A plant, a living thing with no brain, no eyes, no muscles, and no mouth, just identified its attacker by taste, sent an internal electrical alarm, manufactured a custom chemical signal, broadcast it into the atmosphere, and summoned a predator to eliminate the threat. No neuron fire. No thought was thought. And yet, strategy happened. Defense happened. Intelligence happened. And it doesn't stop there. Dr. Ian Baldwin, an ecologist at the Max Planck Institute, spent decades studying these tobacco plants in their natural habitat. And what his team discovered was even more astonishing. They found that the plant can adjust its chemical signal depending on the species of caterpillar attacking it. Different caterpillars have different salivary compounds, and the plant tailors its volatile blend accordingly, attracting the specific natural enemy of that particular herbivore. It's not a generic alarm. It's a targeted communication. And the neighboring plants? They're listening too. When nearby plants detect these airborne volatiles, they begin preemptively ramping up their own defenses, producing toxins, thickening cell walls, preparing their own distress signals before a single caterpillar has even touched them. They eavesdrop on their neighbor's pain, and they prepare. Think about that in human terms for a moment. Imagine you couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't call anyone, but you could release something into the air, something invisible, that told your neighbors exactly what kind of danger was coming. And they understood, and they acted. We built the internet to do what plants have been doing for 400 million years. Now, let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you felt attacked? Not by a caterpillar, but by life. By stress? By expectations that chew through your energy the way mandibles chew through a leaf? When was the last time you felt rooted in place? Unable to run, unable to fight, unable to even explain what was wrong. Just standing there, being slowly consumed. We live in a world that's eating us alive. Notifications, comparisons, performance metrics, the endless, gnawing expectation to be more, do more, produce more. And most of us respond the way we think we're supposed to. We endure. We absorb the damage. We stay silent. But here's what the plant teaches us. Silence is not the same as helplessness. The tobacco plant doesn't panic. It doesn't thrash. It doesn't try to be. The loudest response is not always the strongest. Sometimes the strongest response is invisible, chemical, internal, a slow, deliberate rearrangement of what you already carry inside you. And sometimes healing doesn't look like healing. Sometimes it looks like standing still in a field while the wind carries your signal to exactly the right place. You might feel stuck right now. You might feel like something is consuming you, slowly, invisibly, leaf by leaf. And the world might look at you and see someone who's fine, someone standing, someone green, but you know the damage. You feel the bite. So let this be your permission, not to fight harder, not to run faster, not to become something you were never designed to be, but to signal, to reach out, to trust that the help you need exists somewhere in the ecosystem of your life, and that your honest, vulnerable, quiet call will be heard. For 100 million years, that's how long plants have been solving problems without moving, without thinking, at least not the way we define thinking, without any of the tools we consider essential. And yet, they've built the most complex, interconnected, resilient communication network on Earth. No Wi-Fi, no language, no brain, just chemistry, connection, and an ancient, patient faith that the signal will find its way. Maybe the smartest thing we can do is listen, not to more podcasts, not to more opinions, not to more noise, but to the quiet intelligence of a world that's been communicating since long before we learned to speak. Go outside today, not to accomplish anything, not to optimize anything. Just go, stand near a plant, touch a leaf, breathe, and know that beneath that silence, there is a language older than every word you've ever known. A language your body still speaks. A language that is still, right now, in this very moment, try to reach you. If this story stayed with you, if something in it felt true, then you belong here. The plant mind is a place for people who are curious about the quiet intelligence of the natural world and what it can teach us about our own. If you'd like to keep exploring, subscribe. Stay for the next story. There are many more waiting. And if you know someone who needed to hear this today, share it with them. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pass the signal along.